Tonight on Let It Rip, the near tragedy in the skies over Detroit on Christmas Day.
You're in shock. Holy cow, the plane's on fire. We're gonna die.
A Nigerian, a Muslim, his underwear packed with explosives, sets himself on fire and almost blows up the plane.
The warning signs would have triggered red flags, and the suspect would have never been allowed to board that plane for America.
Tonight, the president is demanding to know why airport security failed. New high-tech scanners are being deployed, and some are asking whether racial and religious profiling might also help stop terrorists before they strike. It's time to let it rip. On the panel tonight, Dawud Walid, Executive Director of CAIR, the Council on American-Islamic Relations here in Michigan. Howard Wallach, former Regional Director of the Anti-Defamation League, a man who has inside knowledge of Israeli security. Jimmy J.J. Johnson, conservative commentator, good friend of former President George W. Bush, and Fox 2 legal analyst Charlie Langton. Gentlemen, we thank you all for being here tonight.
Thank you.
Dawud, let's begin with you. You called a news conference yesterday in which you denounced the violence of al-Qaeda. You denounced this failed attempt to take down a plane. But you also expressed concerns about racial profiling. But there are many who are asking tonight whether profiling should be used as a tool if it saves lives.
Well, it's true. Besides us strongly denouncing al-Qaeda and saying that they have nothing to do with the Islamic faith, we did raise these concerns, especially after what took place on this past Sunday, where we saw two cases or we could see where ethnicity was used to basically target people or label people as potential security threats, when in fact they pose no security threat. We had the issue here Sunday with a Nigerian man. I was actually told by a confidential source it was a Christian Nigerian, not a Muslim, who was seen as a security threat because he was in the laboratory being ill. He was in the bathroom a little too long, some people thought. Then there were two Middle Eastern men in Arizona who were seen as security threats, taken off of the airplane because they were watching a movie on a portable DVD player speaking Arabic, and that's allegedly talking suspicious, speaking Arabic. So we have a situation of people being looked at as potential threats because of their ethnicity. This isn't making us any safer, and is in fact humiliating to the people who are subjected to this type of treatment.
With the Nigerian, you mentioned that the day after the failed bombing attempt, though. Now you have a man, a Christian Nigerian, but a man who went to the bathroom. He did much of the same thing that Abdul Muttalib did on the day he tried to blow up the plane. So if the airline crew is looking at that behavior, why would it be wrong for them to suspect that something could be afoot? What's wrong with that?
Well, I'm not sure if the behavior was exactly the same. We do know he was in the bathroom for a period of time, that the door was locked. But as far as, I don't know if the bathroom crew asked him, was he okay? Sir, are you all right? I have also heard but reports regarding this case. There were a number of people on that plane who had been food poisoned, including one of the flight attendants. Perhaps if they were feeling sick, or if someone would have used their rational minds to have jumped into the conclusion, oh, we see an African, he's in the bathroom a little too long, that perhaps there wouldn't have been this type of, I wouldn't say trigger-happy response, but hysteria. They look at someone, he's African, he's in the airplane too long, maybe he's a potential threat or potential terrorist.
Well, Howard Wallach, you have a daughter who's headed to Israel right now.
She's there now.
She's there right now. But correct me if I'm wrong, the Israeli passenger airline has never had a successful terrorist attack on its airlines. And
I believe that's correct.
What are the security forces doing in Israel that we are not doing?
They look at behavior more than they look at ethnicity. Just for example, this group of kids that went on this trip, this Birthright Israel trip, they left Sunday morning as well. They go through the exact same screening for every person who goes on that plane, no matter their color, their race, their religion. They all get stopped. They all have their baggage checked. They all get asked questions. And if they get responses to questions that indicate that that person might be suspect, might be particularly nervous, then they do further investigation. They're highly trained. They're very qualified. She had to be there 4 hours before her plane took off in order to go through the screening process. That's an inconvenience. It's an expense to the airline, but it's proven results.